Hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for Arcadia Economics, and another stunner. U.S. sanctions blowing up in their face. Here we see Russia plans to tackle U.S. sanctions with Bitcoin investment. Now, I just posted another video about the sanctions placed on Venezuela and how that has them trying to repatriate their gold, and they're using crypto. So again, more gold and crypto use. And here with Russia, same thing, US placing sanctions, and Russia is preparing an investment in Bitcoin to replace the US dollar as a reserve currency in a bid to tackle US sanctions, according to a Russian economist with close ties to the Kremlin. So again, as with any news, filter it with a grain of salt. Yet you've heard Putin talk about cryptos before, and I find it's interesting, political views of Putin aside, the guy seems to do what he says. If you remember back last year when Russia dumped the majority of their treasury holdings, and I found a video, I think it was when he was being sworn in for his new term as president. I think it was in May, and he was talking about how there were very adamant statements about the dollar and how he didn't like the dependence on the dollar, and he was ready to take action. Then we find out that at the point he was saying that, the dumping of the treasuries, at least as best as can be extrapolated from when they're released, had already taken place. So my guess is Vladislav Ginko probably didn't just make this up, and it seems like a lot of other folks have reported on this too. But cryptocurrencies have seen a surge of interest in Russia, and when you think about it, why wouldn't they? This is interesting. The Russian government is about to make a step to start diversifying financial reserves into Bitcoin, since Russia is forced by U.S. sanctions to dump treasury bonds and take back U.S. dollars. So essentially saying that Russia sold their treasury bonds, have dollars, and they don't want to be stuck with the dollars. So looking into Bitcoin. And it's interesting because there's a trade war going on with China. This is happening with Russia. So, I mean, we're not talking about countries that are, small fractions of a percent of the global trade. I mean, these are some of the biggest ones, biggest ones out there. And again, down here mentions, I found this interesting. Central Bank of Russia has yet to publish official plans, but said it publishes information on the foreign assets management with a 6-month lag, meaning that perhaps the trade has already been executed, or maybe they're buying cryptos now. Who really knows? Again, that's what I would do. So anyway, it's just fascinating. I'm surprised that the mainstream manages to avoid these topics, or connecting the dots perhaps, and this one's in the Telegraph, yet you see story after story, development after development. Hey, maybe not all of them are completely accurate. You filter through as you will, but certainly a very clear trend away from US dollars and treasuries, and it's not as if this is completely out of left field for very valid, obvious, apparent reasons. So we'll see what happens. Should be fascinating. I'm still going along with cryptos and metals as my hedge against the dollar. So again, that's not trading advice, but just sharing what I do. And leave your comments below. Maybe you agree or not. It's always great to discuss. I love hearing the feedback we get on the channel. So love to hear any ideas or counter arguments that you might have. With that said, I'm going to wrap up for today, but we'll see you again soon. Thanks.